Hi, today we are going to talk about patterns, and I'm going to take you through a process utilizing free will and choice points and explaining how those are set in your field so that you can utilize them to change a pattern and set yourself free to play differently in this life, to experience different things. So, my name is Erica Van Eaton, and I'm an intuitive energy healer, channel, author, whatever you want to call me. I don't really care. But I'm here to play with you. And we meet every Friday to go through processes to become the master creator that you are. So let's play. Take a breath first and settle into your body. Throughout this transmission, it's going to be a mixture of channeling and healing combined. I want you to sit in your body because as I'm explaining this, I'm going to be walking you through visualizing. Even if you say you can't visualize, we're going to turn on some key energy centers in your brain. I'm meaning the beings of light that are here to play with us. Come into your breath. And the reason why I say come into your body with your breath, because if you just follow your breath into your body, feeling it come into your body, you're bringing your energy back home. Where attention goes, energy flows. So if we're intending to pay attention to our breath, feeling it come into the body, feeling the lungs expand, our energy starts to come back home instead of being scattered all over the place. I don't care if you're driving, if you're doing the dishes. You can still be very present with a lot of your energy back home while you're doing these other things, while you're listening to this podcast or video, however you're connecting with me. But it's coming back home, coming back to center. So take another deep breath and allow it to travel a little bit more into the body. While you're settling into the body, I'm going to start talking about patterns and realities. The other day I was walking my dog, and while I was walking the dog, there was nobody else around. It was fantastic. It was gorgeous outside. And in my third eye, like in my mind, what popped into my head was me just sitting in space, and it was black everywhere. And as I was sitting there, I was realizing that I was the center of this universe. And I could see off in the distance to another soul sitting, and they were the center of their universe, and another soul sitting, and they were the center of their universe. But within and around everyone that I could see, like stars out in the universe, a couple things. There was a web that connected us all. The second was around each soul was a sphere, but it wasn't just one sphere. There were many spheres layered on top of each other, all encompassing the soul. The soul was the center of the universe, and around their universe were these different spheres of light. So I was looking at mine. I noticed that the spheres were semi-translucent, and as I looked even closer, I could see that the sphere closest to me was my current reality, was the life that I am currently living. And then if I looked beyond that, there was a slightly different version playing out on the next sphere. It was like a movie screen. It was a slightly different version of my life, just a little bit better. And I couldn't see the exact details, but I could just get a sense that it was just a little bit more along the lines of my desires that I want to step into next. And beyond that was an even more expanded version. And beyond the sphere beyond that was another expanded version. And they were really infinite. There were so many. As I began to look in the sphere that was closest to me, when I yawn, I'm moving energy. So I'm helping you guys expand. We're bringing you into your field. That just means that we're getting very centered in our energy field, which it gives us opportunity to shift. So as I'm explaining this, I want you to visualize along with me. I want you to pretend as best you can that you're sitting in space and that you can see yourself encompassed with these spheres, and that these spheres are semi-translucent movie screens. and each movie screen is a slightly different version of your reality. What I noticed when I looked and concentrated a little bit more at the sphere closest to me was there was a still picture frame. Everything else is moving, but there's this one still picture frame. And if I looked at the next sphere, there were other still pictures within that movie screen while the rest of the things were moving. And it continued like that. So when I concentrated on the still shot that was not moving, the picture that was in the movie screen closest to me that mimics my current reality, what I was noticing was it was an experience related to a pattern that has come to my awareness that I'm ready to shift because it doesn't feel as expansive as it could. It's just a still shot. Maybe you have a repeating pattern of having little tiffs with people, or maybe you have a repeating pattern of fighting with a child, one of your kids. You guys continually butt heads. Or maybe there's a repeating pattern of money issues or work overloaded responsibility or injury or health, or we look at the still shot and realize everything else is moving. So before we come to this earth, we have all these movie screens. We know that we have opportunity to play out. And within each one, we're implanting experiences to get our attention to an energy stuck within us that we need to heal. A program that's stuck within us, whether it's from epigenetics, we downloaded it from our parents, an traumatic experience from growing up. And that can be as simple as someone bullies you on a playground or steals your favorite pencil when you're in grade school, or not feeling seen or heard by a parent. Whatever, however big or however small, it doesn't matter. If we didn't move through that and utilize it for growth, it becomes a still frame in our movie. And maybe there's 100, maybe there's 5, but usually you can only see what you're ready to see. So I look at this pattern and I realize, this is a choice point. This was an experience I had that I hadn't yet chosen to work for me. So we have all these predestined experiences in our life path. And with each experience, the free will that we have is I get to make this work for me, or I can choose to stay stuck in the energy of. And then I just keep rotating around this movie screen, this sphere. I'm just going around and around this sphere. It's like I'm stuck in this reality. And it's not bad, but I don't want to be here forever. I want to continue to grow. So as I look at this still shot, I realize at the moment, I don't know where the core wounding began, but I don't really need to. I see what it is, and as soon as I feel the emotions of, and I realize I didn't allow myself to and be empowered by. So I accept the picture and I make a decision. And take a breath. I realize in my subconscious mind, this pattern keeps repeating because there's always just a little bit of a tension there. There's always just a little bit of, I wish I could change it. But who am I if I'm not that? If I don't have that any longer in my reality, if I'm no longer an addict to this thing, who am I next? Who am I? And I realize it's a matter of accepting whatever I'm feeling. So go ahead and accept and breathe deeply into the belly. And then move this up into your chest. So if I'm breathing deeply and I'm breathing calmly, then I'm telling my body I'm safe. If I'm telling my body I'm safe, my neurological system relaxes. I start releasing better feeling hormones, which puts me in a place of self-trust. When I put myself in a place of self-trust, I can start to rescript and rewire without resistance because I'm not resisting myself and I'm not making myself wrong. So I feel the fear, or I feel the shame, or I feel the anger or the resentment, and realize it's normal. And I can be empowered by. And now as we untether and untie all this energy that is going into the still frame, by accepting what it is, by allowing ourselves to feel, we unlock the body, we pull all the energy out of that still frame and it starts to unravel. And as it starts to unravel, we have all this energy come back into our system. And now we get the opportunity to play with a different creation. Where do I want to place my awareness first? Where do I want to place my awareness now? Let's say it's debt. Maybe it's money that we have an issue with. No matter how much you bring in, more seems to be going out. Or so if it's debt, we are unraveling that, we're accepting it, and then we're placing our awareness to overflow. I want to concentrate my energy, my attention, my awareness on overflow. What kind of investments do I have? Are they growing every day? Maybe I write those numbers down and I just concentrate on that every day. Maybe I concentrate on the $10 that I do have in my bank account and feel so grateful that even more are starting to come in. And I'm starting to place my awareness on my overflow instead of debt. Maybe it's relationship. And you constantly have these little tug and pull relationships that just don't feel good, that tend to pop up. And you're constantly worried about you're saying the wrong thing and pissing the wrong person off, or they're doing something to you and triggering you. And you're not even being intentional about it, but it just keeps happening and you don't understand why, and you just accept. And then you remember that everyone's in their own universe. Everyone's in their own spheres. And as you breathe in, then you freeing up all your energy. You're unlocking that still frame. You're freeing up this energy to place your awareness into relationships that do feel beneficial, that do feel expansive, that do feel joyful. And as you unlock that still frame and you open this other reality up for yourself, you get to step into another sphere. You're stepping into a new reality that's slightly better. That's your free will choice points. It's either to be victim to be stuck with, or to be empowered by, and an opportunity to reroute your attention, to reroute your awareness, to reroute your consciousness, your energy flow into this other direction that allows for growth and expansion and something new. But we can't resist the body. We can't fight the body, can't fight the mind, because that creates non-trust within our body. So we accept, we keep the nervous system calm, we breathe, we keep the visual of being the center of the universe and all these spheres playing around, because that feels very grounding. It feels very centered. Good. Now what you can Maybe now what you're beginning to feel is your brain rewiring as it's placing its attention on relationships that are meant to grow, that do want to grow, that excite you, that are expansive, that feel beneficial for both parties. Maybe it's on the money that is continually coming in, but you get the opportunity to decide, how do you really want your life to look? What do you really want? And oftentimes we are not clear, because we have one eye forward and the next is looking back at where we've been trapped in patterns. But we just relax the body, we relax the nervous system, and we look at the reality that we want. And the more that we look at the movie screen, the sphere of what we do actually want, we relax into, and we start to align our thoughts with that. We start to align our words with that. We start to align our emotions with that. And when we place our feet on the earth, we are walking out that reality like a living meditation. And if a negative thought arises, if a negative experience seems to arise again, we don't think of it as failure, but an opportunity to be empowered by a free will choice point to learn from, to free up energy from that experience, to propel us again. We are all already master manifestors and creators. We're creating everything all the time. We are already creating everything all the time. It's just becoming more and more clear that we are the creator and the created. We are the creator and the created. Good. Repeat this as many times as you need, as often as you need. It's about flow. It's about gratitude, and it's continually moving. If I wake up the next day or the day after that and I see another still shot, a photo that's not moving, that doesn't mean I failed. It doesn't mean that I've went backwards. It just means that I've actually grown and I've allowed another limiting belief, limiting program, experience to come forward, to be revealed, to be opened, so that I can move on again. Thank you. Thank you for playing with me. Thank you for trusting yourself. Thank you for moving through this process. You expand your field. You expand everyone's field, because we're all connected, of course. Join me every Friday for a new experience, a new topic. Be sure to comment down below if you liked this experience, or what, even if you want to share, like what photograph came up for you, what still shot came up for you. It helps everyone feel seen when we share our vulnerabilities and we share our experiences. So be sure to share those down below if you feel called. I'll put a link to my free library that has more healings and activations within it, along with a link to the Unity Method book, which walks you through a process like we did today. Until next Friday, so much love and light.